Hello and good morning to a very frosty morning here in North Yorkshire. I'm in a place called Otley, Cheving, and in this video I'm going to do a short walk round the bottom half of it, which is absolutely superb for the particular video that I want to do on Excalibur. When people come here, they tend to park in the car park up there and then do the easy flat route around the top end. But if you were to come down this path here and bear left and go to the bottom end, it's much more magical and much more interesting to look at. So I'll switch you off until I get down to the bottom, and do forgive me, I'm on this side of the camera because over Christmas I broke a tooth battling with a Toblerone, and the Toblerone won. And also I've got a little bit of a cold and sore throat, so if my voice is a bit croaky, do forgive me again. But I'm going to walk down to the bottom and I'll see you in a minute. For me, a couple of minutes. For you, just a second. Whoa. As you can see, this path down here is quite a steep path, and it can be quite tricky. So if you do have mobility issues, you probably wouldn't want to come down here. There is another entrance in further down, but I'll show you that when I get down there. Right, as you can see, I've now just come down that hill there from the top to the bottom end of Otley Chevin. Now there is another way in down there, but no car park. There's a car park at the other side of the road, but the car park for the Chevin, there's two up at the top there. But that's, like I say, where mainly walkers around the top. But if they were just to venture down here, some do, people that know it do, they would find a totally different world. It's so magical. It's like it's an old world that's wrapped up in a new one. So anyway, let's get on to Excalibur. What Excalibur is, where it came from, and why it's not the sword in the stone. Excalibur was just a weapon. It wasn't. It was a symbol of power, kingship, magic and destiny. When people picture King Arthur, they picture this sword, a shining legendary, it's almost alive. But here's the first truth. Excalibur was not the sword in the stone. The sword in the stone was an entirely different sword. That sword was only to prove that Arthur was the rightful king. Excalibur came later as a gift, a test and a sign of favour from the magical world. Oh, I've got these dogs, honestly, they're constantly always fighting. Hey, stop it. So let's clear something up, because it causes more arguments than anything else out there. The sword in the stone, like I just mentioned, was a completely different sword. Arthur pulled it to prove who he was. And then he used it in battle. And according to some of the oldest stories, it actually broke that sword. And that's then where the legends begin, because Excalibur enters the story only after Arthur becomes king. So yes, all these TV films and cartoons and half of the TV shows get this part wrong. So imagine yourself walking through an ancient forest just like this one, mist rising from the ground, although we haven't got any mist today, but we do have a lot of frost. A pool of still water ahead, silently watching. That is where Arthur goes after breaking his first sword. He's guided by Merlin, Not the jolly wizard we see on TV, but a wild, mysterious figure from early folklore. You see, right through there. So pretty down here. So pretty down here. So anyway, on with the story. So Merlin is from early folklore. And then they reach the water, and from the surface a hand rises up holding a sword so bright it seems to glow. And that's the Lady of the Lake. And she is the most mysterious character in all of the myth. She's not just a pretty woman in a dress, she's the guardian spirit. A bridge between the world of humans and the world of magic. And she offers Arthur Excalibur. Not because he's strong and not because he's noble, but because the land itself recognises him as a king worth fighting for. And in some of the older versions, many versions say, "Take me up and cast me away," meaning use it wisely and be prepared to surrender it when the time is done. So most people think Excalibur was magical because of its blade. But in a lot of the old texts, the real magic is actually in the scabbard, the sheath. While Arthur wore the scabbard, he couldn't bleed. He was protected and almost invincible. So if the sword symbolised power, the scabbard symbolised survival. Excalibur doesn't just appear in medieval books. Its roots go far deeper. In myth that's actually older than Arthur himself. Ancient cultures had a story about magical weapons being given by water spirits, and these actually appear in Irish folklore, Welsh and even the Norse traditions. But why water? Well, because for ancient people, lakes, rivers were gateways, places where the human world touched the unknown. Oh, look at them. Where's she? She's obsessed with cats. You're obsessed, aren't you, by squirrels? Archaeologists have found countless swords thrown into lakes and rivers during the Bronze and Iron Age. And they were offerings and gifts. A little bit of magic, in a way, in their eyes back then. So the idea of the Lady of the Lake giving a sword wasn't just random. It's one of the most magical traditions in our islands. The pathways go off all over the place here. You could actually walk round here for a good 3 hours along the Chevin. There's so many different pathways that go off all over the place. And down here, many years ago, they found remnants of old circular roundhouse, stone circular roundhouses, which I might come back and do another video on that one day. Let me know if you'd be interested in that. Anyway, let's get back to Arthur. So, at the end of Arthur's life, after his final battle, he was wounded. Some versions say mortally wounded, and he knows his time is over. And he tells Sir Bedivere to throw Excalibur back into the lake. But Bedivere didn't really want to do this. He couldn't bear throwing such a beautiful sword back, and he refuses to do it on 2 occasions. But Arthur insists, "Do as I command," he says. When Bedivere finally throws it, the sword spins in the air and the hand rises up from the water. The same hand that gave it catches it and draws it beneath the surface. And this is the moment that ties the 2 legends together. The sword wasn't meant to stay in the human world. It was just borrowed. And now it's time to throw it back into the realm of magic. I'm not sure quite what this was in the past. I'll have to investigate and find out. So I've come round to the bottom end of this, and there's some like little circular seating areas with a little table there. I'm not sure how old they are, whether they're modern, whether someone's actually in the last 50, 60 years built these, or whether they're much older. If anybody's got any ideas, pop them in the description, because I can't find anything round here with a board that suggests what these are. So I might have to have a look at this, look it up. Because this looks more like concrete. This looks modern, and there's obviously fencing up, but it's just truly a different world down this side of the Chevin. Well, that was interesting. Some people had just walked past and they've absolutely no idea what those stone round things were down there, so I'm going to have to do a bit of research. They could be the remnants of the old stone round houses. But anyway, back on to Merlin. So, what is Excalibur really? It's not a weapon and it's not a symbol. It was a reminder that power must be earned, that leadership is responsibility, and that even kings, even legends, borrow their strength from the world around them. Excalibur wasn't a gift for Arthur alone. It was a covenant between king, land and destiny. That's lovely up there, isn't it? So, that's the true story about Excalibur, and as close as we can get it through centuries of mixed folklore and imagination. And I just thought here on Otley Chevin was a perfect place to bring that story alive. Although we don't have a reservoir or lake, it is quite magical, and obviously lots of stones and ancient woodland. So if you're still with me and you haven't got bored, next week I'm going to do, or should not next week, but my next video I thought I'm going to go and do Lady of the Lake. And again, if you want to stick with me and continue this little walk with me, I'm going to head off down here. The track does go up there. This track down here goes along the side of the edge of the road, and yeah, let's go have a little bit of a wander and find out what's down here. So I hope you liked that video, and if you just wanted to listen to the story of Excalibur, you can switch off now. But if you want to continue this little bit of a walk with me, like I say, let's continue. And thank you for watching. Oh gosh, she's found a squirrel. Can you hear her barking? I'm just experimenting with these stories, folklore, and maybe a little bit of history that I want to bring into the channel. And I really would appreciate it if people could give me some feedback of whether you would like that kind of thing, whether you just enjoy the walks, because I can just still do the sight and sound only walks as well, and pop one or two of these videos in between. Or if you only want to listen to the folklore then and not watch the walk, I'll separate the two. So it would be helpful if people would let me know what kind of thing you're interested in. So down here, that's still that. Oh yeah, that's the waterfall, and just going down there. So I'm not coming down. I do know these woods. I know them because I grew up here, and I used to ride my horses when I was very younger down here. And this is why I know hardly anybody ever come this way. They always go up onto the top, which is a shame because down here it's so much nicer. Doggies, I'm not going all the way down there. We're going to go off up that way. Come on. They'll come back. So yeah, that goes down to the road, and there's a gate. You can actually get a couple of cars parked at the side of the road there, and walk up this side. But then there's a farm over that's got a public footpath in. I know that because I used to keep my horse there, and I used to come directly across the road and come whizzing up through these woods in the days. Wow, it brings back memories coming around here, it certainly does. So yeah, I'm not going to get lost around here. Having said that, it's been at least 20-30 years since I've been actually this far down. I normally stick to the path just further up that I've been. Oops, is that ice? Ooh, it's very icy this morning. But it is well worth a visit, and it's not just for little short walks. You can actually make this place a good three-hour walk. There's picnic areas right up at the top, and if you were to go over to West Chevin, you can do West Chevin where the royalty pub is, and join that on as well. This really is, and for me, I do come here when I don't have time to do a much longer walk, but I don't feel like I've actually been anywhere. When you go somewhere close to home, you don't actually feel like you've been out on a walk. I don't know why. But as you can see, it's pretty quiet, well, apart from the cars down there. And there is another track. I've come in the middle, so there is another track that follows the edge of the road all the way down, and it meets this track further down. So yeah, there I've come that way, and the bottom path brings you up there and joins this one. Now it looks like people on the mountain bikes been doing the usual thing and creating extra paths everywhere. I always know when my dog's found a squirrel, you can hear her, and that's why she'll never catch one. Oh, she's already back here. She'll never catch one because she's too loud. And there you have it. Another path that goes off down there. So they're everywhere. You could really, really explore this place. Come on now. One of these. Yeah, the cheving here was developed in the last ice age. They cut through the valley, and it's like a U-shaped valley. It goes right up the hill there, and it's a U-shaped valley, unlike some river valleys that are V-shaped. Yeah, it's very spectacular. Ooh. People come here and do a lot of rock climbing up these. And it's actually quite dangerous, because sadly, not so long ago, somebody did lose a life trying to climb these rocks. So I can recommend, if you're doing that sort of thing, you know exactly what you're doing. It's a very deceiving rocks. Come here. Hey. Yeah, I can see how tempting it could be for someone wanting to climb up these. You won't get me doing it now. But they are truly, truly dangerous, magnificent, and I can see the temptation. And perhaps if I was a lot younger, I'd probably be having a go myself. Not anymore. So, I am now at the top end, and if I sound out of breath, it's because that dog there has just vanished on me for the last hour, and I have been wandering all around the cheving looking for him, because she is a little cowbag at times. She goes running off after squirrels, and he went after her. She obviously came back and he got lost. So I am absolutely shattered. But this is the top end where most people walk, and it gets quite busy up here. That's why I do like to do the bottom end. And I won't film this part of the walk because this is already on my channel and I don't want to repeat myself on that. So thank you for watching, and I'm going to go home and have a cup of tea and a rest now. Bye for now.